What's going on, America? Welcome back to the Savage Patriots. As you can see, Marlon is out. He's not feeling well. Jay Lee is running a little behind. So for right now, you have Coy Mack and myself. It's like the Hooch podcast, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. It's the hooch day. It's the hooch day for the
Yeah,
Savage Patriots.
and we're
It's just
used
us
to it, but
running the show.
we have a very interesting topic today. It's going to be kind of a short episode because we have other things we have to do.
Mm.
But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Bidens. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys.
On the other side. It didn't want to go. It didn't want to go. Yeah, and then button
I don't know
presses.
what happened, but yeah,
All right. Well, whatever. We're already
yeah.
here.
Well, no, hey, we're
Let's
just
do
going
it.
to roll with it. For some reason, it didn't want to do the intro, but everybody's seen the intro. Apologize.
We'll
if you
do it
like the
live.
intro. We'll do it live right now. But
do it
I know
live.
Marlon's watching right now, like, nah, it's all right. But yeah, Joe Biden,
Damn it,
man,
Michael.
back in the news. What do you think?
Yeah. It's like, damn it, Michael. That's what Marlon's doing in the background. But yeah,
Yeah.
Joe Biden's back in the news because, the impeachment inquiry is happening, which I always think is funny because like the news media is treating it like they're impeaching him. And they're asking the question of whether or not they should impeach Joe Biden, right?
Yeah.
Because like they haven't they're gathering evidence. This is the investigation period. So they were already investigating, right? And now they're going to do an inquiry of whether or not they should bring those charges to trial, which is in the House, right? Or the indictment of that saying, hey, we should impeach him. And then it would go to the Senate to be actually tried. And then he would be convicted if that was possible. Now that depends on how the Democrats want to actually run this. So like if he does get impeached, in my question, he gets impeached, it goes to the Senate. There's going to be an interesting play at foot there because if they really don't want Joe Biden to run in 2024, the best way to get him out of there is to have him either resign because he's going to get convicted or convict him and get him kicked out of office because he won't leave.
He pulls an old Richard Nixon. You know what I mean? But,
I am not a crook.
A lot of times on this show, and we talk about all the time, a lot of this is political theater, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a way to get people focused on something that's not going to happen. I honestly think that this is just smoke and mirrors, man. They're going to talk about it, and nothing's ever going to happen. They've been talking about Hunter Biden for what, a year now?
Yeah.
And all this stuff. They lied about the laptop. They lied about all this. Then when it finally came out and said, yes, it existed, they still didn't do anything about it, but they kept talking about it. You know what I mean?
The amount of felonies alone on his laptop would put anybody else underneath the prison. Like just the amount of blow that dude was doing on hookers it should be enough to get him in jail. But no, they're like, nah, those aren't crimes. Because he has the wrong name attached to him.
The beauty about it, like we've said before, is that it's showing the two-tier justice system. Yep. You know what I mean? Like you just said, if it was you, if it was anyone else that we know that's just a regular old Joe, they would have had it. They would have been on trial immediately, plastered all over the TV, plastered everywhere, life ruined, thrown in jail. But since these guys are such high-profile people, they always find a way to push it to the right, push it to the right, push it to the right. And they keep pushing it to eventually where people forget about it.
Yep.
So hopefully this time, fingers crossed, that they actually do something about it.
And you're right, because here's the other thing. Just recently this week, they're charging a Blaze reporter who was there documenting January 6th for just being there as a journalist. He's getting charged by the FBI, right? So like the FBI has enough time to go after every single person that happened to be on January 6th, whether they committed a crime or not, whether they were there like in the building or not. They're going after these people and they're convicting them for crimes. But they get a laptop full of felonies and his name happened to be Biden, gets nothing, right? Enrique Tarrio gets 20 years for a text or a tweet or whatever it was saying don't leave when he wasn't even in January 6th. He gets 20 years because that was conspiracy. It was that. So like none of the drug charges, none of the gun charges, none of the human trafficking charges that are on Hunter Biden's laptop. We can not even talk about Joe Biden. We're talking legitimately just his laptop alone has enough personal charges for Hunter Biden to be in jail for at least 10 to 15 years. At least.
And it's not even the tax evasion, the money laundering, all this stuff that, like we said earlier, we get the average citizen thrown in jail. So hopefully this opens up a lot of people's eyes to the way the system is. And the system is very corrupt, especially the judicial system. Very corrupt. And we got some videos for you. What's this first one down here?
Which one? The one about
in the urban wilderness of Philadelphia's slums.
All right.
We find ourselves in the presence of an elderly jackass. With careful observation, we witness a disgusting dance as the jackass attempts to assert control over its unruly bowels. As the struggle intensifies, the jackass succumbs to the remnants of last night's Taco Bell feast. A symphony of relief and embarrassment plays across the wrinkled visage of our aged protagonist. Surrounding onlookers express a mixture of disdain and disgust, their faces contorted at the offensive aroma wafting through the air. To preserve our olfactory senses, we maintain a safe distance, keenly aware of the jackass's discreet prancing, a strategic maneuver in the hopes of liberating itself from the unexpected burden in its pant leg. In a peculiar twist of fate, there exists a contingent of dumbasses willing to endorse the re-election of this elderly jackass, despite his epic failure in guiding the nation. As the pungent aftermath of Bidenomics lingers in the air, so too does the disgusting legacy of the elderly jackass.
The elderly jackass. That's funny, man. Like, dude, seriously.
And it's true. You have this 80-something-year-old man who's so far, behind how the world works. Just listen to the way he talks and some of the lingo he uses. He is not up to date. He hasn't had that new download, that Microsoft 2023.
Yeah.
He's still in, Commodore 64. You know what I mean?
He missed the 93 update. That was what it is. Like he didn't get to Windows 95. He was still back in 93.
Y2K hit him hard.
It's still funny to me that an entire half of the voting population of this country, like 50 million people, voted for that. Because they hated Trump so much, they would rather have a guy that can't control his bowels be in charge of the country than to have Donald Trump. Because the media lied to them. They told them that he was going to be better. So it's going to be funny. So Bidenomics is going to be associated with what a bad economy looks like. Like that's what economists are going to say is when they mention Bidenomics, they're going to be like, here's all the things that you shouldn't do. And this is called Bidenomics. Like he should have stayed home. Honestly, he should have stayed home and his reputation and everything would have been maintained. He would have been the good vice president with the jolly man, the Obama man. Like he was good. Like that's how they would have remembered him. But no, he's now worse than Jimmy Carter. And that was a hard hurdle to jump over, but he did it with flying colors. He gets first place. Give him a gold medal. He is done. Bidenomics is awful.
And it's crazy how these media pundits, right? They will still praise this man, and then they're complaining about how the right is going after Biden. They're going after this guy, but you guys did the same thing for Trump. For 3 years or for 4 years of his presidency, it started before his presidency. 4 years of his presidency. His entire presidency, and then 3 years after his presidency. So you've been going after this guy for close to 8 years, going after Donald Trump. So then you get upset when the right is doing the same exact thing with tangible stuff, real stuff, not some made up Russia collusion, not some made up anything. This is real stuff that has been proven, that it's been shown, and they're still defending the man.
That'll come up later when they're talking about the impeachment inquiry. But you should bring up the video I have for him. This is before they actually called for an official inquiry, and this is his reaction to it beforehand.
President Biden on Ukraine and also China. There's polling by the Associated Press that shows that almost 70% of Americans, including 40% of Democrats, believe that you acted either illegally or unethically in regards to your family's business interests. Can you explain to the Americans,
He looked like he
amid this
pooped his
impeachment
pants.
inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
I'm not going to comment on that. I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
You didn't interact with
I-
many
they're
of their
lies.
business
It's not.
associates?
I did not. There's lies.
It's a bunch of lies. That's what he claims. It's a bunch of lies, right?
Well, that's the face of a true narcissist right there. I mean, how do you call something a lie when it's proof? You know what I mean? I mean, and people still believe him, no matter
That's what the
what's
media's-
shown to them. No matter
That
what
is what
you
the
show.
media is doing.
Yeah,
They're still doing it.
and they're going to
So, like-
protect him till the end.
Yeah, what they've been doing is like they're saying that the inquiry have no evidence. They're doing this impeachment without any evidence. They've shown more evidence that he has been doing dirty things. Him and his family have been doing dirty things since his entire political career, even not just like in the last few years, but all over his political career. They've been showing that he's been doing dirty things. Is more evidence than what they impeached Donald Trump for. Was just a phone call. They impeached Donald Trump for a phone call. If Donald Trump had shared bank accounts and he bought a vehicle with the money that was deposited based on selling his name, Donald Trump would be under the prison. Come on. Say it with me. If you were sharing bank accounts with your kid who was going around selling your name for influence, you cannot say the money has no connection to you, because it does, because you were sharing bank accounts. You were benefiting from that. You were taking money out to pay for things. We've seen this. He said it. It's on the laptop. It's on everything there. We have enough evidence to show that the president is compromised with Ukraine because...
Yeah, and years ago, Biden actually came out and said he was corrupt. He told people to their face, and they laughed it off. It's like, you telling me you're corrupt, and we're just going to laugh it off, like, ha, 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 ha. And this is one of the reasons he had to drop out of when he was trying to run for president years ago, is because he lied.
Yeah,
he lied about his
plagiarized.
college. He lied about, he plagiarized a lot of stuff. So he is a liar, but here we are.
He's a
And
proven
then you
liar.
guys expect to believe anything that comes out of his mouth?
Yeah.
He's a proved liar.
Yeah, he like I said, is this guy, we know what he's been up to. We have tons of evidence. Even if it's just circumstantial evidence, we have a preponderance of evidence to say, hey, maybe we should bring this to the grand jury and see if we should indict him. That's where we're at with the inquiry. It's not even an actual impeachment. It's a question to whether they should impeach him. That's it. They're acting like it's a full-blown impeachment. Anyway, so here's the mainstream media and their take on this.
Forward with a formal impeachment inquiry into President Biden. So far, 3 investigating House committees have presented no evidence of high crimes or misdemeanors by the president. Now, the House Republicans have voted unanimously to formalize the inquiry, saying that will allow them access to more information as they try to tie the president to his son's foreign business dealings. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins me now from Capitol Hill with more on that. Jay, what's happening there today? How are Republican lawmakers moving forward with these investigations?
Well, the argument has always been from House Republicans that formalizing this impeachment inquiry with a vote on the House floor like they did yesterday strengthens their case in court if they want to compel the White House and other individuals to comply with subpoenas from Congress for documents or for testimony. Republicans accused the White House of, quote, I'll quote directly from a statement from Speaker Johnson last night, of stonewalling lawful congressional subpoenas, and says that vote yesterday to formalize the impeachment inquiry strengthens their case in court if they want to go enforce those subpoenas. As you'd imagine, Democrats in the White House paint the exact opposite picture, saying Republicans have had access to a number of different kinds of interviews and thousands of pages of documents, and to your point, as you said earlier, have shown no direct linkage between President.
No direct linkage, right? Even though we have tons and tons of reports of them having direct linkage. Like they just look at a piece of paper and they go, yeah, that's not true. And then just put it down, even though it literally says this is the truth on it. On the paper, it says this is the truth. And they say, yeah, no, it's not true. Like they're that blind.
And we've said it, time and time again. You can have video footage You can put them there. They can film it themselves, see it with their own eyes, and they still won't believe it. No, that's not real. That's not true. That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. All of this is hate for Trump.
Yeah.
And they're really upset that the right has got something on their guy, which is going to lead back to a lot more people. I guarantee it. And they're afraid that whatever they've been doing in the dark is really going to come to light. And that saying is true. What they've been doing and what Biden has been doing, it's not just Biden's hands that are dirty. That's the guy they caught. There's a lot more people that are involved in this. And it'll go back to the Obamas. It'll go back to Schumer. It'll go back to Pelosi. It'll go back to all these high-profile Democrats. And that's what they're worried about. Biden is a pawn in my eyes. He's just a fall guy, man. He's an old man. He's going to disappear. He doesn't have much left in him. But they're afraid that it's going to come back to a lot more people. Follow the money. You know what I mean? Follow those dollars. And those dollars are going to lead to some place to where it's going to blow a lot of American citizens' mind. It's going to change the whole fabric of the society. It's going to destroy a lot of people's reality. And I truly think that's what they're scared of.
And like I said, here's a good joke for you. It's like Joe Biden could be boinking a pig, and they would still say Joe Biden's not boinking a pig. Like, they could literally walk into the room in the White House or the Oval Office, and he'd be doing that pig, and then they'd say, "Yeah, he's not doing that pig." It's like, I can see it. I can see him boinking the pig. It's right in front of you. Yeah, that's not happening. Like, that's just how they act. Like, the Democrats will always act in their own self-interest. We know this. They will always lie to you no matter what it is, right? Because, like I said, Donald Trump has done less than this, and he got impeached twice. Not once, twice, with a less majority than what the Republicans have right now. That's the most insane thing about this, is they are so spineless that they want to appear to be the good people. Right. That's why the Republicans are spineless, is because we're trying to do this the right way. You're not even playing by the same rules, my man. Like, the Democrats don't care about the rules. They'll change the rules to fit whatever they need it to be. And you're still trying to be good with these people. They are never going to play on the same level playing field as you, ever. If they can cheat, they will cheat. And you need to do the same exact thing. You have to play the same game they are. So crazy to me.
Yeah. And that's always been a rule. You know, in order to compete with someone, you have to play by their rules. You know, you're not going to beat a cheater if you always play by the rules. Sometimes you have to cheat in order to beat the cheater. Yeah. And this kind of gloves off. We gotta be more this and more that. The Democrats they're never going to stop playing the game they play. So why is the right playing nice with them? No, you do exactly what they do. They go after one of our presidents, or they go after a president on the right. You go after a president on the left. They don't want to sign a bipartisan bill. You don't sign a bill that they don't want. You play that game with them, back and forth.
When has a Republican demand ever made it into a bill? Like, honestly, like, think about it. Democrats always get their demands in bills and will get forced to get passed. But Republicans never force any bills. They never force any votes, ever. The only time they've done that recently was with Matt Gaetz and the speakership votes. That is it. That is the only time they push back. And that is insane to me. Whereas the Democrats will always push for what they want. Always.
Yeah, and that's right. Every time a Democrat wants to push something, they want it, bipartisan, or they want it, Democrats.
Yeah.
Whenever they want to push something, it always has to be their way or the highway. This is a Democrat bill. We're going to push it. When the right wants to push something, they always want it to be a bipartisan thing. And if they don't agree, then it's not going. Instead of, the right saying, no, we're going to pass this bill.
Yeah. Like, when have they pushed for the repeal of the NFA? You know what I mean?
Never.
Like, that's the Firearms Act, by the way, if those who don't know what the NFA is. That's the one that says that you can't own certain things without a tax stamp. That's what that is. But you will never see a Republic push for NFA repeal. Ever. Ever. Even though that's the same thing they say they want to do. It's like, oh, we're going to defend Second Amendment rights. I want you to ask your Republican representative, how? How are you going to defend my right to carry? or what weapons I own. How are you going to defend that? You won't even push for anything. You haven't even put a bill on the floor saying what kind of thing you're going to defend my rights with. Not a single one. So how are you going to defend the Second Amendment if you're not even trying to fight for it now?
Yeah, and usually when they do try to push something to protect the Second Amendment, it's just the same thing the left said. They just reword it a little bit. It's the same exact verb.
Right?
It's the same exact thing. They just add some little fancy words in there to make them think that they're speaking on our behalf when they're not. They're actually agreeing with the left. They just change up some of the words in there to make it seem like it's different. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, they'll always work with the Democrats to compromise on gun control legislation, but they will never do anything to expand gun rights. Even though that's something they campaign on constantly, or even taxes. They might do some tax cuts or whatever, but they won't do anything that actually revamps the tax system or fixes the tax system. Same thing with immigration. Yeah, you're against immigration for legal immigration, but you won't put anything on the floor in order to fix the immigration problem either. Democrats won't either. I know that. And you're like, well, we can't pass it because they won't let us pass this. Like, but you're not even trying. And we see that. Right. We see that. Anyway, let's continue with the lies of the mainstream media.
Biden and his son's overseas business dealings and say that this impeachment inquiry is just a political process, and they call it a political witch hunt against the president and his son. So you can expect Congress to try to now compel or at least file additional subpoenas and then compel the White House to follow up and comply with those subpoenas now that they feel that they have a stronger case in court to be made.
Now, Hunter Biden slammed this probe. He stood outside of the Capitol saying MAGA Republicans have attacked his character to embarrass his father, and that he's ready to testify, but only publicly. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he plans to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress. So what's the latest on that back and forth?
Yeah, and if you think back to this saga as it relates to Hunter Biden, he was subpoenaed to appear before Congress yesterday and testify behind closed doors. And instead, he gave that press conference and he said, I will testify in a public setting. So in a sense, or in actuality, he defied that subpoena. So you could expect when we talk about the first order of business in this newly formalized impeachment inquiry that's been going on for months, but was solidified with this vote yesterday, that holding Hunter Biden in contempt, as Chairman Comer and Chairman Jordan have promised to do, will be top of the list in those first orders of business. Hunter Biden.
Now, one thing I will agree, I hate to say this, makes me kind of gag a little bit. One thing I will agree with this is that the fact that they wanted to do a closed door testimony, which doesn't make any sense to me, why they would want that. If anything, you would want an open session. If anything, they were trying to protect Hunter Biden's image, which I don't understand why you would want to do that and why they were pushing for a closed door session to begin with. That is beyond me. I have no idea why they wanted that. Like, honestly,
again, they're protecting his image, but would they protect my image? Would they protect your image? No. You know, they should get the same treatment every other citizen gets. If we should have cameras and everything else in that courtroom, regardless of their status, the people should see exactly what's going on because the taxpayers are paying for that case.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like they should have had an open hearing. That's what this whole thing is about. It's like if they gave him an out when they shouldn't have, because if it was like if you would have done an open thing, then you wouldn't have anything to complain about, unless he was going to complain about, well, I would like it to be closed because it could be damaging to my reputation or whatever. So I think either way he would have pulled this same shenanigans, but I don't understand why the Republicans pushed for closed door testimony. That's something that just blows my mind, and it doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Again, saying that he doesn't want to testify behind closed doors as the committee wants him to do. Instead, he wants to do it in a public setting. But the Republicans running this investigation say they are going to conduct it on their terms, Diane.
Yeah, which I don't get.
Meanwhile, Jay, Ukraine aid is still stalled in Congress with just one day until lawmakers leave for the holidays. Senate Republicans say they won't move forward without a border deal. So are they any closer to a compromise on that?
No.
Well, that one day in the House is today. Members of the House of Representatives have a vote that's happening. Let me look down here at my screen right now as we speak. And when that vote is over, most are expected to leave for the Christmas holiday. And
that's how they always are. They just barely do any work and then they effing leave. Jesus.
I mean, look at how much they work in general. They're always on a break. They're always gone. They're always in recess. They're always doing something. The average American can't afford to take a break and go on a recess whenever they feel, work 2 hours a day and still get paid, 6 figures. No, they need to be held accountable.
Yep.
I mean, they need to stay there and vote on this because we're going into the next year. But I don't know.
Yep. And just to point out, yes, he can still plead the fifth because it covers under self-incrimination, which he cannot under oath. He cannot testify against himself. So, like, he can still plead the fifth just because that's a constitutional law. Like, they can't compel his speech to self-incrimination. I mean, he could do it on accident, but I'm just saying they can't compel his speech to make him self-incriminate. He can still claim it regardless. Anyway, so like, since we're a fair show, we give everybody equal time to explain their situations. We need to listen to his statement. So after he denied the subpoena, he went outside to a press conference and gave his statement, which was like 6 minutes long, and I think it's appropriate to listen to it so we can tear it apart.
Oh yeah, this guy.
Yeah, so here's Hunter Biden's statement on the issue.
Looks like a green screen.
Good morning.
Right.
I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate questions Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have for me. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies. And I'm here today to acknowledge that I've made mistakes in my life.
Yeah.
And wasted opportunities and privileges I was afforded. For that, I'm responsible. For that, I'm accountable. And for that, I'm making amends. But I'm also here today to correct how the MAGA right has portrayed me for their political purposes. I am first and foremost a son, a father, a brother, and a husband from a loving and supportive family. I'm proud to have earned degrees from Georgetown University and Yale Law School. I'm proud of my legal career and business career. I'm proud of my time serving on a dozen different boards of directors. And I'm proud of my efforts to forge global business relationships. For 6 years, MAGA Republicans, including members of the House committees who are in a closed-door session right now, have impugned my character, invaded my privacy, attacked my wife, my children, my family, and my friends. They have ridiculed.
I'm gonna pause that for a second. Except for that one illegitimate kid in Arkansas. That's not mine. We don't recognize that kid ever.
Yeah, but didn't he just say he takes accountability for everything he's done?
Yeah, he said that.
He said that. Yeah, and now
he said that with a
what,
straight face.
Yeah, and he's playing victim now. So he's taking accountability for everything he's done.
Yeah,
but then the right calls him out for everything he took accountability for.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's playing victim for them calling him out for things he took accountability for.
Yeah, just so
make
you know,
that make sense, America. Make that make sense.
I'll give you some more food for thought as we're listening to this. Hunter Biden hit with federal charges for evading tax. Remember, he's still under tax evasion charges right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to know some of the things that he spent money on and under the tax evasion investigation?
Do tell.
Oh, and I had it here. Let me find it again. Okay. In 2018 alone, the indictment read, Hunter Biden spent more than 1.8 million, including approximately 72,000 in cash withdrawals, approximately 383,000 in payments to women, and approximately 151,000 in clothing and accessories.
Oh, God.
He's spent 300 grand on hookers. Adult entertainment, shall we say. He spent, I'll repeat again, $300,000 on adult entertainment.
Now, question. With a straight face, he sat up there and said, they're attacking my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So you're complaining that the so-called, whatever this made-up term called MAGA Republicans attacked your wife, but you've been disrespecting your wife by spending $300,000 on hookers.
Yep.
Make that make sense, America.
And between 2016 and 2020, he earned more than $7 million in gross income. 2.3 million of that was from his position as the board of directors of Burisma, 2016 to 2019. And a Chinese company, by the way, is a part of that expenditure that he was getting in revenue and income. So to say
stand-up guy.
To say that you're taking responsibility for the things that you've done, sure, I'd say so. You're evading taxes, you're taking in dirty money from foreign powers, not even registering yourself as a foreign agent. That's another violation right there that they still haven't decided to go after him for, because they could. Because you're supposed to. If you take money from foreign governments, you're supposed to register as an agent. And he was involved in foreign trade. Anyway, let's listen to more of this guy's
foreign trade.
My struggle with addiction. They belittled my recovery.
Dude, you wrote a book where you said you smoked Parmesan off a carpet. Like, I'm sorry, if you write a book publicly about something like that, I mean, people are going to make fun of you because you smoked Parmesan off the carpet. Just saying.
I mean, he's not making any sense to me, because he's all over the place. You know, like I said, he takes accountability. Now he's playing victim. He's mad that people said things about him. But like you said, he wrote a book telling people the things that he did that they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to take accountability, say, I take accountability for everything I did, and I'm going to shut up and move out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take it. I'm going to own it. Own it. Don't play victim after you own it.
And people still wonder, in the most secure building in the entire United States, they still can't figure out who dropped the sugar booger, the booger sugar in the White House. Who could have possibly had the cocaine in the White House? It's not a game of Clue, okay? It's pretty freaking obvious of who brought cocaine into the White House. It's not a great mystery. You know? It wasn't the guy with a monocle in the library with a freaking wrench, okay? It was Hunter Biden, because he's an addict. All right? And he skipped over security. We know this. The FBI can find people that go to January 6th and then persecute journalists, but we can't figure out who dropped cocaine in the White House. Yeah, make that make sense.
Two-tier justice system.
I know, right?
And they have tried to dehumanize me, all to embarrass and damage my father.
You do that just
who has
fine on your own.
Devoted his
Get that on his
entire
own.
public life to service.
Serving himself.
For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?"
Yes.
Well, here's my answer. I am here.
So brave.
Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved in my business.
Liar.
Not as a practicing lawyer. Not as a board member of Burisma. Not in my partnership with a Chinese private businessman. Not in my investments at home nor abroad. And certainly not as an artist.
Okay. So then why did you have joint bank accounts? That's a simple question. If I was on the committee and I was in that hearing, if you had no involvement in your money making, then why did you say that you're lucky you don't have to send your income to your father, which was Joe Biden, and you don't have shared bank accounts? That's a legitimate question to ask. If he is not involved, why were you so intertwined on these deals? Or, here better yet, why did you take Air Force 2 to China with your father if he was not involved in your business dealings?
You know, the best thing for Hunter, you know, if I was his lawyer, I would have told him, don't say anything, because here's what's going to happen. They're going to eat him alive. The media, they're going to dissect everything he said, and then they're going to tag something to it saying, he lied here, here's why. He lied here, here's why. He lied here, here's why. And they're not just going to say here's why, they're going to show us why.
Yeah. But that's the difference between under oath and not under oath. He can lie as much as he wants in a press conference, but as soon as he gets under oath, then consequences are attached to what you say.
That's right.
If you lie and you knowingly lie under oath, you get held in contempt or you get a charge for lying. Right? Kind of like how they got Michael Flynn, right? They wanted him to lie. They made him lie in order to convict him. It's the same thing. So.
During my battle with addiction, my parents were there for me.
Playing a small
They
violin.
literally saved my life. They helped me in ways that I will never be able to repay.
I bet.
And of course, they would never expect me to.
That's a lie.
And in
They
the
definitely
depths of my
expected you to pay him
addiction,
back.
I was extremely irresponsible with my finances.
Wait. Extremely irresponsible with your finances would be buying a giant TV. Spending $30,000 on hookers is not just irresponsible. That is mega level of, I don't even know what's a good word for that? Like, not just what's beyond irresponsible? Reckless. There we go. Reckless.
Yeah, reckless.
Reckless. Disregard for your own well-being. That's what that is. Like this dude, man, I wish I had the amount of privilege this dude has. Like, seriously.
That is grounds for an impeachment inquiry is beyond the absurd. It's shameless. There's no evidence to support the allegations that my father was financially involved in my business because it did not happen. James Comer, Jim Jordan, Jason Smith, and their colleagues have distorted the facts by cherry-picking lines from a bank statement, manipulating texts I sent.
Okay, wait. Like cherry picking from one statement. If it's from a bank statement, is that not evidence? Like, is that not evidence? Like, that's the question. Even if they cherry picked it, if it was there, that means it's evidence. That means it's truthful, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, that's something that would be used in the court of law to say, hey, I bought things I probably shouldn't have bought, and that's why I'm getting charged with like explosives or whatever, because you were getting all these things at different places and whatnot. They would still say, hey, that still counts because, like, well, you cherry picked that. You cherry picked that information. Or where I went to Walmart and bought a bunch of ammonium. Yeah, that's how the FBI would look at it. They're like, well, you still bought it, didn't you? So yeah, it's evidence, dude. You can say it's not evidence.
Somebody said it best. He, like we said earlier, he is a narcissist, and that's gaslighting 101. And the reason he gets up there and says the things, he bold-faced lies, because he knows that a lot of the people that love the Bidens are going to believe him.
Yeah.
And those are going to be the loudest people. The people that don't believe him, you're not going to hear too much from them. It's the people that believe him are going to be the ones they show on TV. They're going to be the ones on social media talking about how great he is and how, they feel sorry for him and his drug addiction, and the right is attacking his addiction, and they're doing all this and that and the other.
Yeah.
He's a liar. 100%. I can bet money on it that he's lying.
I mean, once you admitted to smoking Parmesan off a carpet, dude, like that was, your credibility was gone. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it was done. There's no other way to look at that. I'm sorry.
Editing the testimony of my friends and former business partners and misstating personal information that was stolen from me.
Whoa. Was not stolen from you. You were too high and forgot your own laptop at a repair shop.
Exactly.
Okay, that's not anybody else's fault but yours. They didn't steal that. Nobody stole that laptop. You left it. That's fair game.
I'm pretty sure the guy that had the laptop at the repair shop tried to contact him multiple times and couldn't get in contact with him.
And they even gave it to the FBI.
That's right.
And the FBI had it forever and did nothing with it. So I couldn't say it was stolen if the FBI had it. Now, can you? You saying the FBI stole your laptop? Is that what you're trying to claim? You're saying the FBI did? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
They had it.
Fairness or decency in what these Republicans are doing. They have lied over and over about every aspect of my personal and professional life. So much so that their lies have become the false facts believed by too many people. No matter how many times it is debunked, They continue to insist that my father's support of Ukraine against Russia is the result of a non-existent bribe.
Kind of like Trump and a lot of the Russiagate stuff, right? It's like it becomes a lie so much that everybody believes it's true. I wonder why you're self-projecting there. Yeah. Is that there's
a non-existent bribe? I'm pretty sure it was a bribe, and Biden said it on camera.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
that
liar.
there was fire the prosecutor or you don't get money. That was coercion. It was quid pro quo, which you impeach Trump for. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah, or the big guy. You remember that one? You know,
The
the
money
big
for
guy.
the big guy. Yeah, 10% for the big guy.
Yeah,
and
the big guy.
And people who worked with you and your partners have already testified and said in public and in hearings that yes, the big guy was Biden. So
yes,
good luck with that one.
But you know, they think people
displayed
forgot.
naked
We don't
photos
forget.
of
Yeah, exactly.
me during an oversight hearing. And they have taken the light of my dad's love, for me, and presented it as darkness.
What did he call Joe Biden in his laptop?
Oh my
Does anyone remember? Does anybody remember? So the guy who is saying that he's taking my father's love, the light of my father's love, who I happen to call Pedo Pete in my contacts, loves me so much, and they're just like distorting everything. So Pedo Pete, that I'm not saying that's not what I'm calling him. That's what he calls him in his own contacts information. Pedo Pete is that they're distorting his father's love. That's it. His father's love. Yeah. So I'm glad for somebody who has that much love for their father calls them Pedo Pete. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
He's talking like Joe Biden's the Dalai Lama himself, like he's old Saint Nick. He's just this jolly old man. You know, come on, man. We know Joe Biden. We know who he is. We know what he's capable of. We know how many times he's lied. We know how many times he's bribed. We know how much money he's laundered. We know that he doesn't care about the American people, because if he did, he wouldn't keep sending money to other countries. So quit trying to paint this picture of your dad being this good, jolly, great individual, because that's a lie.
Yeah, it's absolutely a lie. Period.
They have no shame.
You have no shame,
These
sir.
same committee chairmen have engaged in unprecedented political interference in what would have already been a 5-year investigation of me. Yet, here I am, Mr. Chairman, taking up your offer when you said we can bring these people in for depositions or committee hearings, whichever they choose. Well, I've chosen. I am here to testify at a public hearing today to answer any of the committee's legitimate questions.
Which you never did.
Republicans do not want an open process where Americans can see their tactics, expose their baseless inquiry, or hear what I have to say. What are they afraid of? I'm here. I'm ready.
So brave.
Hi, everyone.
That was the only thing he said that was truthful, by the way. Was that right there is like they should have had an open hearing. See, they left the door open for criticism when they decided to do that. And I knew that was going to happen as soon as they said they wanted a closed door testimony with him. Is they were going to use that as a way to say that this is just a witch hunt, because anything done behind closed doors is always going to spark the imagination every single time. It doesn't matter what the truth is. If it looks shady, people are going to believe it's shady. And that's exactly what they did. They gave it to him on a silver platter.
Yeah, it's all shady. And like we said before, there's a lot of this. I think it's political theater, and you know, it's just another shiny object for us to take the focus off of Biden. At the end of the day, I can care less about Hunter Biden. I do want to see justice served, but you know, I want to keep my eyes on the prize, and that's Joe. That's who we want. We want Joe. Hunter's just he's just a dude, you know, but we all want Joe Biden himself. Which one is okay? Which one is this? Because
this is how he's the report on how he's reacting to the impeachment inquiry.
President Joe Biden is reacting to last night's vote in the U.S. House to begin formally investigating him for impeachment.
CBS 2's Natalie Brand tells us what it could mean for the 2024 presidential election.
House members leave for the holidays today, but Republicans say they'll return in the new year with new powers to investigate President Joe Biden.
The resolution is adopted.
House members voted along party lines Wednesday to formally authorize the GOP-led impeachment inquiry.
I think that sent a message loud and clear to the White House. We expect you to comply with our information requests and our subpoenas.
Republicans say the resolution gives them more subpoena power in their investigation into the Biden's foreign business dealings. The White House and Democratic lawmakers say the year-long investigation has not turned up any evidence of wrongdoing by the president.
The do-nothing Republican Congress has visited upon the American people chaos.
Hunter Biden
without any
refused to testify behind closed doors Wednesday, but gave a statement and offered to testify publicly.
Republicans do not want an open process where Americans can see their tactics.
The vote this week puts members on the record on this issue heading into a major election year when all 435 seats in the House and President Biden are on the ballot.
What we're seeing right now is the politics of vengeance.
Todd Belt is a professor of political management at Washington University.
Like, then what have they been doing to Donald Trump this entire time? When the media says this, I don't get it. It's like, oh, it's the politics of vengeance. It's like, yeah, dude, you've been doing this the entire time. Has been seeking vengeance against Donald Trump.
Yeah, they don't like it when it's done to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's one more I wanted to play after that. Go ahead.
All right. But, keep our eyes on the prize, man. We have one more video for you guys, and then we got to call it.
Yeah. So this one is like, we were talking about the subpoena, right? Remember when he violated the subpoena, Hunter Biden did? This is him in 2021 being asked about what to do about people that violate subpoenas.
Congressional subpoenas on the January 6th committee.
I hope that the committee goes after them and holds them accountable.
Should they be prosecuted by the
I do, yes.
Yeah. They should be criminally charged and held accountable for denying congressional subpoenas. That was good old Joe Biden.
Yep. So let that sink in, America. Let that sink in. It just goes to show you the amount of hypocrisy that runs through that whole family. It's all corrupt. Don't let them fool you. Don't ever forget. Don't ever forget what they said. Hold them accountable with every word that comes out of their freaking mouths. Hold them accountable and remember, because they're betting on you forgetting. Never forget.
Yeah. Anyway, it'll be out.
Before we go, we do have one breaking thing that Coy wanted to bring up real quick. This just happened before we leave the show. Yes, Rumble will be tomorrow and the Hooch will be Sunday. So stay tuned for that info. We'll put it out when tonight or tomorrow. And Coy has one more thing, just as breaking news. You guys go look at it for yourself. Breaking.
So we got U.S. allies scrambling jets to intercept China and Russian nuclear bombers. There's another article that has photos of the planes. There's not a lot of information up on it right now. But according to the reports, Russia and China were conducting joint military operations in the Sea of Japan, or the East Sea, and they were violating airspace between both Korea and Japan, which forced them to respond in kind. We're going to see a lot more of this, of our enemies getting together and doing joint operations like this. It's a show of strength. That's all it is. All this is the same thing that we do all the time when we send certain fleets to certain places. Show of strength, saber rattling, whatever you want to call it. But it's the point that we are still seen as being weak, that we are not in control of anything anymore. And I think that's true. And that's the shrinkage of the empire, man.
Again, keep your eyes on the prize. Be careful of these shiny objects. This is another one. It's just something else to take your eyes off of what's going on with the Bidens. Be aware, but don't focus on it.
Yeah,
don't focus on it until it's within our realm. Right now, our prize are the Bidens.
Yep,
and the border, and America, because America first, America always. Remember that.
America needs your help here, and I just want to give it to everybody else.
All right, America. Anything? Coy, any last word?
See you tomorrow for Rumble, and then we'll see you Sunday for the Hooch.
All right, America. We love you, and we're out.